All going, all going well?
Yeah, I just wanted to show you. I had a trouble
Okay,
doing
show
that.
me if you have any problem.
Um, okay.
You can share your screen now. If you're facing any issue, you can share your screen and show me.
Okay. Screen.
You have issue with Boolean?
Mhm.
Okay, you can show me and we will see together. Show me what is the problem. I think it's line number 14, right?
Yeah, 14.
Okay. It's very easy. Like I told you before that Java is case sensitive. So
Oh,
if there is a keyword that you should write with a small letter and you turn it to a capital letter, it will cause a problem. And vice versa. If a keyword that you should use using a capital letter and you turn it to a small letter, also you will have a problem. Okay.
okay.
So here you used a capital F, not a small f. That's why it cannot recognize what did you write. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Any other problem you have?
No, it's pretty good. I guess it was just a math, I guess.
Okay, great. I can see you have here a lot of practice, a lot of calculations, like very good. Keep it up, bro. Keep it up. Now I will share my screen with you. Let's make some revision or recap about Java variables. Okay. So I will start sharing my screen with you. Just please tell me once you can see my screen. Please let me know. Okay.
I can see it.
Now I will create a new class by right click on src folder, new Java class. I will call it variables recap. And as you can see, first letter in each word should be a capital letter. The public class variables recap. Here I click at the end of line number 1 where the open bracket exists and I hit a new line. Okay, so I go to a new line and I can give myself whatever space is and give myself a space. Now we're gonna put our main method before we forget. Public static void main two brackets string to angle brackets, out of the angle brackets args, out of the brackets we put our method button. Okay, looks great. Now let's put some comments. Like here, I want to give you some, revision about variables. Like what variables is? Variables are places in memory to store values. Okay?
Yeah.
Each variable should have a variable name and data type. We should give it a number. Okay. You agree with these 2 points?
I do,
Okay.
yeah.
The variable name should be unique. Okay. Like in one scope, you cannot have the same variable name for multiple variables in the same scope. Like here, for example, I have inside my main method, I can say string name. Okay. And for example, if I have another method, public void method 2, for example, okay. Here inside this method 2, I can also create another variable called string name or int name, whatever. But here inside main method, again, I can't do like that. I can't create another variable and I call it also name. Whatever the data type is, if it's string, integer, double, float, whatever, the variable name should be different. Okay. But here in method 2, it's not showing any error because this is a different scope. And this variable is a local variable. So here inside method 2, I cannot see what is inside the main method. And vice versa. If I'm here writing here in this main method, I cannot see what is inside method 2. So it's acceptable to have 2 variables with the same name. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will say in the same scope. I will add in the same scope. Okay. Data type specifies. Can you tell me what is the importance of data type for variable?
Value. It specifies the value.
Specifies a value type.
Yeah.
Like for example, we have text, we have numbers. Like where I'm gonna specify the type of the value stored in a variable from the data type. So I will say data type specifies the type and also the size, the type and size of the value stored. Okay. What else? We will say data types. We have 2 kinds of data types. Can you tell me what is the kinds of data types? You know or you don't know?
I think I do.
Okay, think about it and tell me the answer.
Okay, short.
Okay,
primitive.
but yeah. This
Primitive
is called, yeah, exactly, primitive.
and non-primitive.
Primitive data type. Primitive and
Non-primitive.
primitive. Yeah, exactly. You're getting very well now. Non-primitive data types. That's very good. Now we have, let's begin with primitive. Like primitive data types are. So now, can you tell me the primitive data types?
Yeah, char, Boolean,
Wait, char,
Boolean,
Boolean, exactly.
and short.
What else? Yeah, short,
Byte,
byte, byte. What
and
else?
long. I think.
Long, right? What else?
I'm forgetting. Int is good.
Int, yes. Again,
And
one more.
double.
Yeah, we have double. To double.
And float.
Yes, and so exactly. Okay, so can you tell me, for example, what kind of value we save in char?
Characters.
Yeah, save characters or contain. Save, okay, characters. What is the size of char data type? Do you know?
I don't know exactly.
Actually, it's 2 bytes. Okay. You can read more on your own about what is bytes, and there is something also called bit, which is a smaller unit of byte. Okay, like 8 bits. Okay, equal 1 byte. And you can read about these metrics like on your own, like to save some time here in our session. It's not really important for you. Okay, Boolean. What type of values stored in Boolean? True or
True or
false?
false.
True, yeah, true or false. As we said before, it's something like a yes or no question. True or false? What is the size of Boolean?
Size of Boolean.
I will tell you, I don't think you know. So it's 1 bit. I told you a while ago, bit is the smaller unit of bytes, and 8 bits equal 1 byte. So Boolean is only one bit, true or false. Like,
True.
okay. Again, let's go for short. What type of value stored in short?
Short numbers, small numbers.
Integer numbers. Integer numbers. We have 4 data types to save integer numbers. but the difference between each of them is the size. So, do you remember the size of shorts?
It's thousands, right? Only thousands column.
In bytes, like answer me in bytes. Do you know how many bytes is the short data type or the short variable?
Not sure.
Okay, it's also 2 bytes. Like when I start creating a short variable, for example, I allocate 2 bytes in memory for this value. Okay. Like imagine like you are booking a ticket in cinema or in a train. Okay, you get the ticket in your hand, and once you made the booking, okay, a seat in the train or in the cinema is booked for you. Okay. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What about byte, which is also used to save integer numbers? Do you know the size of byte?
No.
Okay, it's only 1 byte.
Oh, but
Okay. Now we have long, which is also used for integer numbers. And the size, the value size is 8 bytes. It's one of the biggest primitive data types we have. Okay, along with double. Integer, from the name integer, it's used to save integer numbers. And most of the time you see that for integer numbers we use int. It's in some rare cases we use long byte or short, but most of the time we are using int. And again, integer has a size of 4 bytes. Okay.
yeah.
Finally, double. We have double and float. Both of them are used to save decimal number. Decimal numbers. Okay. Size of double is 8 bytes, but the size of float is only 4 bytes. And it's used to store decimal numbers. Size of 4 bytes. Okay. So these are the primitive data types. Again, we have a non-primitive
Okay.
data types. Has no certain size. Example. What is the most popular non-primitive data type in Java that we use every day? Do you know?
String. String.
String, exactly. String is not a primitive data type. It's a class. And this class has its own implementation and it used like some sort of array Don't worry if you don't know what is array, but I'm just telling you a hint about what a string is. So you can have an image about a non-primitive data type, okay? What else we should know about variables? Okay. Creating a variable is done by 2 steps. Do you know the 2 steps?
Yeah. Initialization.
Yes,
Declaration.
exactly. And another one, which is first step, declaration and initialization. Okay, great. Declaration is allocating the space in memory. Okay, but initialization is storing the value. Okay, so when I say integer age, this is called declaration. When I say age equal 50, for example, this is initialization. So here I will tell you example int age. Int age is declaration, but initialization here, for example, age equal 50. This is called initialization. Okay. What are the types of variables? Do you remember what is the types of variables? Do you remember?
I mean non-primitive. Static and local.
Types
Local.
of variables are local variable, what is the other one? Global variable, and finally we have static variable. We have talked about static local and global variable, but static variable still we're gonna talk about it later, so I don't want you to get confused. It's a little bit little bit complicated. It's one of the advanced topics, so we will discuss it later. Local and global variable. Here I have this string name. Is it a local or a global variable?
String.
Here it's a local variable. Okay. Here, if I have this another method like that called method 3, for example. Okay. And here inside variables recap, I create int age. Okay. So here int age is inside variables recap class. Okay. But it's outside the methods. Like it's not inside any of the methods we have in the class. Okay. So this age is a global variable. What does that mean? It means I can access this age from any method inside this class. So here in method 2, okay, I can say age equal 20. Again here, I can say age equal 20. So here it's accessible inside method 2. Also it's accessible in method 3 because it's a global variable. Okay. What else we should know about variables?
You don't need to put static.
Like as you can see here, this is called declaration, and this is the initialization, because you don't have to declare and initialize the variable on the same line. Like here we have string name, for example. I can do like that. We'll delete this one, and I will say int what int age, whatever age 1. Okay, and say age 1 is 25. Okay, in this line I made the declaration and initialization on the same line, but it's not always the case like that. But for example, I can here say age 1 equal 25, and here I delete this one. Okay, after I gave this age 1 a value, I can easily change it and assign another value to age 1 to make it, for example, 35. So it's totally normal. What else here? We have int age. Imagine that you have int x equal 10. Okay. Can I assign the value of x to age 1?
Yes, I think.
Yes, we can. Like here, age 1, I can say age 1 equal x, double x. So here I assigned the value of double x to age 1. Here, if I say system.out.print age 1, what is the value that will be printed?
The top one, the 25, I think. 25.
Tell me the final value that will be printed here.
The top one, the 25, I think.
You say 25?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try and see. I'm sorry to tell you that you're wrong.
10. Oh yeah, 10.
It prints 10. Do you know why? Because this is the last value stored in age 1. Like first I stored 25, okay? After that, I stored 35 in the same variable, so 25 got deleted and 35 replaced it. Again, I assigned a new value for age 1, okay? So 35 got replaced with the last value, the final value, okay? The final value here is the value inside this variable called double x. Look, when I put my indicator on double x, it appears here int double x equal 10. So the last value stored here in age 1 is 10. That's why 10 got printed. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we know that we can assign the value of a variable into another variable, okay? I did that because both age1 and double x are from the same data type, right? This x is integer and this age is also integer. What if I changed, for example, the value of double x, okay, and I make it, for example, short? What will happen? Nothing will happen. Let's run again. Again, I get 10. Okay. Do you know why it's totally okay to save a short variable inside an integer variable?
Why?
Because of the size. Like here, integer is big, is 4 bytes. But here short is only 2 bytes. So I can save a small value inside a big value. Like there is a space for me inside integer to store short. You understand? Like I have a big space already allocated for me for integer. Okay? This big value, okay, now can store short because short is a smaller in size than integer. But what if I try to do vice versa? Like I turn the age 1 into short and I make double x into integer. It gives me an error. It's telling me required type is short, but provided is integer. Now it's refusing. Why refusing? Because integer is bigger than short, and I'm trying to save the big one inside the small one. It's not acceptable. But there is a trick. Tell me just before. You understand or you have some issues?
Kind of. Int is bigger than short.
Tell me if you have any question.
Int is bigger than short, right?
Yes, integer is bigger than short. That's why I can save short inside int. You can always save the small inside the big, but you cannot save the big inside the small. Okay? That's why it's important to know the sizes here. Okay? Do you know what is the trick that we can do here to save int inside short?
That's right.
Like here the value of this integer double x is only 10, right?
Mhm.
Which is totally okay to save this 10 in short, like it's within the range, like 'cause it's a very small in size, okay? So I'm totally sure that this 10 is applicable to be saved in a short variable. So I will do something called typecasting. Like here, if I say this is short, okay, will get accepted. And if I run again, Yeah, it's working fine. This typecasting is telling the compiler not to worry about the value inside this big integer. It's telling the compiler, don't worry, the value inside this big variable integer called double x, it's still in the range of short. So yeah, we can save it here in H1, which is short odds. Okay.
Okay.
But without this casting, okay, the compiler will complain. It will tell us we cannot save the big inside the small. With the typecasting, I'm telling the compiler, don't worry, it's still small. Yeah, we know that double X can store very big value, but don't worry, the current value stored in double X still in the range of short, still small. So we can save it here inside the short variable. Okay, you understand?
Yes.
Okay, can you repeat this for me?
Yeah. Yeah, that short is for it tells the compiler not to worry because it's a small number, right? So it tells the compiler don't worry, it's a short number. So
Yes, exactly. We did this because we already sure that 10 it's in the range of short. But what if we turn this 10 to this number?
yeah,
What if?
and you need a long, right? You need a long number, a
Like
long.
it's very long, okay? And I think the maximum of short is 32,000. Only 32,000, I think, is the maximum value can be stored in short. So let's try and see what will happen here in this case. It's giving me a negative integer. Okay, it's giving me a totally false information. Just ask yourself, is this equal this?
No.
This is a positive number, and even this is a negative number, and it's totally corrupted information, right?
Yeah.
So be very careful while dealing with typecasting. Make sure that the value stored in this variable that you are trying to cast is still in the range of the variable that you are storing the value in. Okay.
Yeah. It's too small to hold it. It's too small to hold it, right?
I know in the beginning, like it will be somehow confusing, but you should know the concept, and by time and by practice, you will get used to it. Okay.
You need a bigger variable, right?
Yes. You can store the small inside the big, but you cannot store the big inside the small. You can only make a trick to save the big inside the small. If you are sure that this big is holding a small value. But if it's holding a big value, it will cause us some issues, as you can see now. Okay? I hope that is clear to you.
Yeah, it's
Tell
clear.
me if it's clear.
Yeah.
And feel free to ask if you have any questions.
Okay. Okay, I'll type it.
If you have any question, please send it to me in chat. Now I think